Welcome to the Real Estate Pros Show, where we interview real estate investing professionals from coast to coast, as well as the service providers that serve the real estate investing industry. Our goal is simple: share what's working now to help you improve and scale your business to the next level and meet the pros that can help you get there. Real Estate Pros is powered by Investor Fuel, America's leader in helping real estate investors and professionals build the business you need to live the life you've always dreamed of. Let's start today's show. Property insurance for real estate investors doesn't have to be difficult, but it does need to be there to protect you when you need it. MyInvestorInsurance.com not only provides insurance at 15 to 30% cheaper than traditional agencies, it's built specifically for real estate investors like you. You can set up an account in about 2 minutes, get quotes on properties, turn on and turn off insurance for your fix and flip or rental properties in around 2 minutes without having to talk to anyone directly, all through our portal. There's no better way or faster way to make sure you've got the coverage you need to protect you, and no more lengthy policies either. Once you're set up, you're billed monthly and prorated by the day for however long your policy is active. It's powered by MSI, the third largest independent MGA, with 1.5 million customers and more than $1 billion in cumulative premiums written. Get set up today in about 2 minutes at myinvestorinsurance.com/fuel.
Welcome back to our show today. I'm your host, John Harkar, and I'm here today with Mike Demson. And what we're going to talk a little about today is his real estate journey in boutique hotels and short-term rentals. Hey guys, remember, at Investor Fuel, we help real estate investors, service providers, really all real estate entrepreneurs, pretty much 2 to 5x their business by providing tools and resources that help them build the business they want and in turn live the life they want to live. Mike, welcome to our show today.
Appreciate you having me. Thank you so much.
Yeah, I'm excited to talk about your journey. There's a lot of buzz about boutique hotels and short-term rentals and all that. But before we really talk about that and get into the weeds of that stuff, why don't you tell our audience a little bit about you? Kind of your background, what got you into real estate, and what got you here.
You bet. So I was born and raised in California. Been here for just about the majority of my life, really. Uh, I'm based in Marin, just north of the Bay Area, and being so close to San Francisco, I spent the majority of my career in tech, working in marketing, and did a ton with some pretty large clients. That includes Sephora, Adobe, and Airbnb. I was actually an early employee at Airbnb, and that was kind of an introduction into the short-term rental space. But I was actually working for the platform as opposed to being an investor.
Mm.
I got to a point and wanted to switch sides.
Yeah.
Um, since then, I've found opportunities, and I've really gravitated towards ground up development and looking for things that I'm able to add a significant amount of value to, regardless of the time horizon.
So you started off in tech, right? Did you have any influences, anybody in your life that had any real estate involvement? Family, uncles, whoever?
All the above.
Oh, okay.
I kind of have, let's say, a unique journey, if you will. My grandpa actually came over to the U.S. when he was 13 years old, worked on Hearst Castle. He was
Oh,
a mason. My dad worked with Clint Eastwood in building out his golf course and clubhouse in Carmel, Tahoma. So, I'd spend weekends, summers, actually, working on some pretty cool developments. I saw these incredible homes. It was very hard work, and it was pretty good motivation to do well in school and get to a point where I'd have other opportunities available.
so you kind of started working off with working with your hands early in life.
That's it.
Was that experience what kind of made you say, okay, I maybe like real estate, but I don't like the hands-on stuff as much?
Well, I think it all depends on your perspective and what you're looking to do. It's helpful to have an understanding of different subs,
Mm.
different trades. Um, I think that's important. I actually partner with my father-in-law
Oh,
at
cool.
Thompson Builders in Novato. We've got several boutique hotels that are um, you know either currently stabilized or working on turning around, adding additions, or looking to.
Stop living on an island and join the #1 mastermind in America for professional real estate investors. Investor Fuel is a community of hundreds of the nation's top investors working together to build stronger businesses and better lives. In addition to the amazing community of real estate investors acting as a board of advisors for one another, Investor Fuel members have access to 100% funding on purchase and repairs for our members only, a health insurance program, and benefits and discounts that more than pays for the membership of most of our members, meaning it's actually costing you money to not be a member of Investor Fuel. If you're looking to scale your business and build a business that allows you to live the life of your dreams, please visit investorfuel.com today and book a call with our team.
um, convert commercial properties into a hotel. So there's a few different ways that we approach it.
Boutique hotel stuff in a minute, but just as far as your Airbnb thing, how did you fall into that?
As an early employee, I saw some of the successful operators and wanted to learn more. Started listening to podcasts, reading books, going down the YouTube University rabbit hole, and um, that was a good introduction into what's possible.
So you seeing these guys with the Airbnbs, and you said, "Hey, I need to be on that other side." What were some of the challenges for you to make that transition, if there were any?
So you don't really know what you don't know. I found that there's when you have multiple properties spread out over large areas, it's difficult from a operations perspective, just because you have different providers, different costs. It's difficult to manage those costs in a way that makes sense. And then one of the biggest constraints with short-term rentals is just how the things are valued. It's based on what the property down the street sold for or around the corner, as opposed to commercial property where you take an income approach and it's just a completely different ballgame.
Got it. Did you have? I mean, did you pursue any special maybe training, a mentor, anything specific to help you learn those
Just
processes?
surrounded myself with people that knew more than I did. That was kind of the first step. And for me, it was just asking the right questions and getting on the right rooms.
Okay. And then how long after you kind of made that transition did you buy your first short-term rental?
Then I'd say 60 days.
Oh, wow.
It was pretty quick. Wanted to find something that I could kind of roll up my sleeves, and that made sense.
Okay, very cool. So now you're doing Airbnbs, and I know you mentioned the boutique hotel stuff. Before we kind of dive into that, what do you think based on your experience, maybe folks that are getting into short-term rentals, Airbnbs and stuff, what kind of mistakes are they making when they kind of get off on that path?
The biggest mistakes I see is overpaying, um, trying to chase the deal, spending too much. It's not what you want to do. You kind of make your money on the buy, and you really have a finite amount of runway. Um, if you're overpaying, so that's I'd say first and foremost.
Okay. Um, I know I've heard this from a couple other short-term people. Like when you're evaluating properties, do you look at it as just that exit, or do you also say, hey, if it's not a short-term rental, it'll still also work as a long-term?
From an underwriting perspective, I've always got to underwrite, as conservatively as possible. And if it doesn't work long term, I wouldn't consider it short term. We look for A+ locations, with good bones that we can add some value to.
Okay. And are you buying turnkey? You mentioned value add. Are you buying turnkey, or are you looking for a certain level of rehab that you purchase?
Very deep value add. You know, we prefer to think about, is there a parcel next door? Is there a backyard? Is there additional space that could be built on? That's, I'd say, one of the primary interests.
Okay. Um, and I like to ask this for short-term Airbnb people. What's one of your craziest stories you've had, maybe from a guest or from, what's one of the crazier things that's happened at your Airbnb? Give me the lowdown.
There's too many stories to list, I'd say.
If you're looking for consistent, high quality leads, look no further than Investor Machine. Investor Machine isn't just another agency, it's the most sophisticated, data driven lead generation company on the planet for real estate investors, and serves the role of being not just a lead generator for your business, but a marketing partner that is helping you achieve your goals along the way. Go to investormachine.com to learn more and schedule a call with our team today.
On the guest side, just it's difficult when a guest either doesn't show up, they have issues with their payment, they bring too many guests, bring a pet when they're not supposed to. There's all kinds of issues that can come from that. I'd say um, one of the most interesting is uh, it was actually a guest that completely had I think a meltdown, just completely trashed a place, and it's just not one of those things that you want to deal with, but you got to. That's the only way around it.
Meltdown. So she just completely like just destroyed the inside. I mean, what? Give me a little bit more background on that.
Trashed the place. It was pretty bad.
Wow. Did she give you a reason why?
No, we just sent it straight to claims and kind of there
Right
wasn't
on.
much to be done.
Right on. So, do you see any like I know there's been a lot of regulations and some areas where maybe Airbnbs aren't even allowed. Are you seeing any trends like that coming in the short term rental world at all?
Absolutely. San Francisco, one of the main markets, they've made some major shifts in how, Airbnbs are regulated. And that's actually a big reason, why we're building a ground up 16 room boutique hotel in North Beach. Just because it's already commercial property. We have the opportunity to be in a great location. It's got, views of the Golden Gate Bridge. It's got just a few steps to the main cable car pickup, right next to Pier 39,
Mm.
and it's a really good location for a hotel, and doesn't necessarily have the same competition from the short term rentals. So that's one of the main advantages, I'd say, of going to the commercial side.
Okay. And is it just yourself on your team? I know you mentioned you work with another family member. Do you have like a team built out to help you acquire, rehab, do all the stuff that you need to do on these short terms?
You bet. Fairly built out team. I've yeah, got some opportunities to partner on larger projects, and yeah, that's a big part of working with family.
Yeah, of course. Uh, how is it work? I mean, how do you like working with family? I know I've talked to a lot of folks that have family members like, hey, now I'll never do that again. Have there been any instances to where it's caused a rift within the family or the dynamics?
At the end of the day, you've got to show up with patience and persistence. I think communication is a big part of that. Understanding that everyone's got a million things that they're working on, and being humble, coming with some grace, and just asking the right questions, I think is that's helpful.
Okay. So after you've started these Airbnbs, what prompted you to make a change to go into boutique hotels?
It's the shift in regulations. San Francisco, they basically did the exact same thing that New York did, more or less, outlawed the unregulated or unlicensed short-term rentals. They put, legislation in place that you actually have to be there in your own short-term rental, which, is very difficult for most operators. And, it was just tightening regulations.
Okay. Now, when are you buying already done little boutique hotels? I know you're building ground up, but when you first started, were you buying something that was already developed?
Exactly. Yeah. Started with it was actually the Stonehouse in Sonoma.
Oh.
beautiful historic building. Didn't used to be a hotel, but we actually converted it to a 16-room boutique hotel. And at this point, it's stabilized.
If you're a new or newer real estate investor looking to launch or grow your real estate investing business, please check out Investor Fuel Club. It's a coaching community, but unlike anything you've ever seen before. And you can actually partner with members of our mastermind from coast to coast on deals right in your market. There's no better opportunity to build a consistent business than to literally partner with pros to help you avoid costly mistakes, avoid the need for capital to do deals, and help you eliminate your fears as you're starting your business. Learn more about Investor Fuel Club at investorfuel.com/club.
Up and running and throwing off a reasonable amount of cash flow. And um, the real opportunity there was it actually came with an adjoining parcel that we're working on getting entitlements for building an additional 67 rooms. At the end of the
What?
day, it's going to be a flagged IHG hotel. So
Oh, okay.
it's,
Okay.
yeah, cool opportunity for sure.
Sounds like it. What challenges did you face, or things, obstacles, when you made that change from the short term rental to a boutique hotel? Like what things came up that were a lot different than what you were previously doing?
So it's a different kind of lending. So working with different banks, different financial partners, you've got to understand that you have to bring a little bit more money to the table, and that's just a part of how you underwrite. That's the biggest change. On the residential side, you can take advantage of some FHA or um, favorable lending that you don't necessarily get on the commercial side.
So you're using private money or hard money to do these?
We have in the past. We don't as much right now. I'd say it's a little more expensive than working with the bank, but
Okay.
we recognize that there's a place for everything, place and time for sure.
Yeah. And how many short term and boutique hotels do you have at the moment?
On the residential side, six, three currently on the boutique hotels.
Okay. Um, what kind of things, I know there's folks that maybe are out there listening to this and might have thought about, hey, I want to do short term, or maybe even thought about boutique hotels. I mean, what kind of, resources are out there for folks to be able to learn this outside of, going into a class or a mentorship or something like that?
Say class or mentorship is a great place to start. Surround yourself with people who've done it before and who are sort of already at the point that you want to get to. Um, I think there's a ton of value in cutting down the learning time.
Okay. Is there any specific advice that you might, want to give to someone that's just that's getting into short term boutique, or I mean, real estate investing as a whole?
Yeah, find a partner, someone that has a little bit more experience than you do, that knows things that you don't know. I think understanding your own weaknesses and limitations is that's a key, and something that I've found to be pretty helpful.
Okay. And then what resources do you think people can go out and find that can help them with some of those things?
Love YouTube. You can find out just about
YouTube you.
anything. You know, spent a little bit of time on the Investor Fuel page, and
Mm,
yeah, that's definitely worth checking out.
yep. There's a great ton of information. Well, what other facts or things you want to tell our folks about boutique hotels and kind of how your business is maybe put together and ran?
But I'd say reach out. I'm active on LinkedIn, Instagram. Um, Happy to chat. There's kind of open door policy. Let me know how it can help, and happy to either point someone in the right direction or help out where I can.
Okay. Well, cool. And is there a specific website that they can go to reach you? Is there a specific email or anything that you might have for them to reach out?
You bet. Website is demsonconsulting.com. Happy to have a conversation. Yeah,
We didn't
emails
even
listed
talk about
there.
your consulting business. Tell us a little bit about that.
You bet. So that's kind of building off the experience in marketing. I'd say Working with technology clients has been a big part of my career and that part of the journey, and that's really allowed me to do some of the other things. Um, so yeah, happy to share more. We had the opportunity to work with some pretty good clients over the years. One of the other interesting ones is actually Prologis. They do light industrial and actually are partnered with Amazon. So yeah,
Okay.
there's some cool opportunities out there for sure.
And then what specific help do you give to businesses in your consulting? Do you help them with their online presence? Do you help them in like how do you help them grow or what do you do for those companies that reach out?
You bet. It's full service consulting. It really depends on what's needed. It can be SEO, content, video, emails, paid marketing. Spend a ton on Facebook ads and Instagram, and yeah, there's really no channel that we don't work with. So
Okay.
it's pretty much anything digital.
Is there a specific industry or avatar that you more focus on, or is it just anybody and everybody who can, wants to do e-commerce?
I'd say it's anyone, in the e-commerce technology and real estate space as well.
Okay. Very cool. So where do you see your business going in the next couple of years?
Continue growing. For me, I think the boutique hotels are the best opportunity, at least in my opinion.
Okay.
It's an area that we want to continue focusing on and growing, and uh, we also do multifamily, light industrial, and some of the other asset classes as well.
Okay, awesome. Are there any specific challenges that you're maybe running across in your business to reach that growth or reach that next level in your journey?
It's always finding the next deal. We work with some brokers. We also we'll do some direct seller outreach.
Mhm.
I'm a believer in, if there's an opportunity to get property at a fire sale price, whether that's through tax sales,
Okay.
auctions, bankruptcies, foreclosures, doesn't really matter.
Okay. Looks like we froze up for a quick second. I don't know if that's on my end or yours. Well, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed the podcast, and if there's anything you guys want to talk to Mike about, please reach out to him. And okay, Mike, are you there? We had a quick little
Yeah,
break.
yep,
Yeah,
no problem.
quick little freeze for some reason. I don't know if it was on my end or yours, but okay, cool. So what we'll do is I know you sent me all your contact information. We'll put that down in the show notes. I appreciate you coming on and sharing all that, guys. If you have any questions, maybe have any interest in short-term rentals, boutique hotels, or you just want to ask Mike some questions on his journey, right? We'll put all that stuff in the show notes. Thank you again for coming on, and I hope everybody here enjoyed the show. I know I did, and we'll look forward to seeing you on the next one. Cheers.
Thanks for the time.
Thanks for joining us for today's Real Estate Pros Show. You can learn more about the amazing benefits of the Investor Fuel Mastermind community, including surrounding yourself with hundreds of other rock stars, 100% financing for your deals, and members-only discounts from vendors you're likely already using that, as a member of Investor Fuel, will save you more than the cost of your membership. Visit investorfuel.com to learn more. If you're interested in joining us as a guest of this show, please visit investorfuel.com/pros to apply. You can also check the show notes for access to free resources, how to get access to world-class lead generation, and much more. Don't forget to subscribe so you never miss another episode. Have a great day. We'll see you on the next show.